For millions of years, the mountains have stood high against all odds. But are they actually impregnable and invincible as we think? Scientific research has proved that they are as vulnerable as the world's oceans, grasslands, and forests. Scientists have been constantly warning about the meltdown of huge masses of ice in the mountains due to global warming, the direct impact of which is on the glaciers. In Nepal, we have not yet taken the issue of global warming seriously, but ours is one of the countries mostly at risk. Glaciers in our mountain areas are already shrinking and turning into huge lakes. The size of glacier lakes is growing, and only the mud walls of the lakes are blocking the water from bursting out. But as more glaciers melt, the water level will keep on increasing, and the moraine dams will not be able to hold the water. Once the water breaks through the walls, the lake water will turn into a colossal flood that will rush downhill to the villages. This village was torn apart by the Glacier Lake outburst flood in 1985 when the moraine walls of Dikcho Lake broke down. The force of the flood from Dikcho Lake was so immense that it rushed about 90 kilometers downstream, destroying everything in its way, even cutting through the hills and forming gorges. Namche Bazar is the resting camp from where it is necessary for all the trekkers to acclimatize themselves so that they don't suffer from altitude sickness. Here, people have no fear of glacial lake floods, landslides, or avalanches. But several Everest climbers are quite concerned over global warming, especially the impact on glaciers that are receding rapidly in the last few decades. We met Nima Tashi Sherpa, an expert mountain climber who has summited Mount Everest more than 8 times. He has been working as a mountain climbing guide for the last 20 years. He explains how the situation in Everest region has changed.
1988 मा म जाँदाखेरि यो क्याम्प 2 देखि यो वेस्ट रिजतिर सबै हिउँ बढी आइस थियो। अहिले सबै आइस जान थालेर अहिले बढी जस्तो फ्लड होस् नोक्चे होस् एभरेस्ट सबै बढी रोक निस्केर आयो। अब ढुङ्गै बढी ढुङ्गा जस्तो भयो। स्प्रिङमा गयो भने तपाईको हिउँ धेरै देख्दैन अलि।
Up from Namche, the flow of fresh water is seen almost in every direction. Water from the mountains is a vital source of drinking water for more than 2 billion people around the world. The glacier meltwater produces the lifeblood of fresh water for Ganga, Brahmaputra, Indus, and many other great South Asian rivers upon which hundreds of millions of people depend. Without glacier meltwater, many lakes and rivers could dry up. Ringboche, the senior-most spiritual leader of Khumbu region. We talked to him about several issues related to global warming. He was mainly concerned about the effect of global warming on the fresh water supply.
पाखेर गयो र अब ढुङ्गा निस्कियो मान्छेहरूलाई समस्या पर्छ नि अब त्यसो लागि सबैले यो अप्ठ्यारो परेको कुरा हो नि.
This is Bangboche, where remains of the landslide that occurred more than 2 decades back are still there. These huge scars on the landscape are the reminders of how the mountain regions are being damaged by the sudden glacial floods from the lakes. This scar on the hill of Dingboche Valley is a constant reminder of the dreadful night in 1986 when the flood from Amadablam Glacier rushed down and caused a huge destruction. It is the same route where the flood could come down rushing from Imja Lake and attack Chukum, first destroying the small settlement down there. By 1960, most of the glacier melted and turned into a lake. The lake is growing as more glaciers are retreating fast and melting at the rate of nearly 10 meters every year. This is just the tip of the problem caused by global warming. It is quite sad to think that all these beautiful glaciers, formed by more than 2 million years of snowfall, are receding faster in the Himalayas than anywhere in the world. Although Nepal has a minuscule share in the global warming, our country has to bear the impact of the problem made worse by the developed nations of the West.